everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jess, and I said I was gonna So, it's the end of August. How did that happen? Hope you're all excited to go back to school, back to uni, go to uni for the first time. Whatever else you're doing, if you're at work, then I'm sorry, you probably didn't have a summer holiday. My condolences, I guess. Oh my god, let's just get on with it. Okay, without further ado, let's go on to what I have read in July and August. The first book that I read in July was Queenie by Candice Carty-Williams. Unfortunately, it wasn't my favourite. If you don't know, Queenie is about a girl called Queenie. It sort of starts off with talking about her boyfriend, partner breaking up with her and saying he needs a break, and the whole book sort of starts off because of that. Like, he sort of leaves and says, I need my space, we need to have a break, blah 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 blah, and the whole book is just her like going back to work and talking about it, thinking about the break, looking back on their relationship and trying to figure out what went wrong. And there's a lot of good blurbs from other authors about this book. There's so many, like the whole back is filled with them, and I just didn't feel it. The story was fine, like there was nothing wrong with it. For a contemporary, adult story, it did open my eyes to a lot of things. It did entertain me, and there were times when I laughed. The whole thing that I had with this book is that all the reviews say it's really funny, and that it's like the new Bridget Jones and like all of this, and it just wasn't, the humour just wasn't there for me, and I didn't like a lot of the things that Queenie did or said. She wasn't a great person in my eyes. She did start to work on them towards the end, like her sort of issues that she had within herself, but man, like she was kind of annoying, and it just was a bit nothingy, like the whole thing. Like, I was on a holiday with my boyfriend's family while reading it, and at one point they were like, oh, how's your book? What's happening in it? And I was like, I honestly don't know. Like, I can't tell you one single thing that's happened this whole time. And I was like, here. It wasn't great. I gave it 3 stars, but it's really pretty, so I'll forgive it a bit for that. Candice Carty-Williams, I'm really sorry that I didn't like your book. The next book that I read in July was Things a Bright Girl Can Do by Sally Nichols. This follows, oh my god, this plot. Okay, so it's set in 1914, so the very start of the First World War. It's set just before the start of the First World War. It follows 3 girls. Evie, who is from a very wealthy sort of upper class family. All she wants is to go to university, and obviously at the time it was very sort of not normal for a girl to go to university. She wants to go to Oxford, and it's about her fighting with her family and saying, I really want to go, and her saying why, blah 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 blah. And then it also follows May, who is the daughter of a suffragist. There's a difference between the two. I did learn a lot reading this. She's the daughter of a popular suffragist, and they both sort of work together to do a lot of protests and go to events and stuff like that and fight for the right for women to vote. And then we also have Nell, who is from a very poor background. She's from a very working class family. Her family is quite big, but very just not well off, and a lot of crap happens to her basically. But her and May meet at a suffragist event, and they begin to have a relationship, and it's really cute. It's also very real, I think. I can't say because obviously I wasn't alive 100 years ago, but a lot of stuff happens in this book. This, compared to Queenie, every time I read a bit of this book, like I would pick it up and read like 20 odd pages, something happened, and it was like constantly things were happening and the plot was moving forward, and I really liked that. I was never bored, and I loved the characters in this. I think they were all great, and their values were very reflective of their upbringing at the time that they would have been brought up, and it just really stuck with me. I learned a lot as well about history. Like, I didn't get taught a lot of this stuff at school, any of it really. Really, really good. I gave this book, I'm checking my Goodreads, I gave it 5 stars, which clearly means it was great. I just really, really liked it. The next book I bought at the airport on my way back from holiday. I found it in some random Lanzarote airport. I found this in this tiny little section that was in English. It's The Dreamers by Karen Thompson Walker. I'd never heard of this before. I had never seen it before. No one had ever spoken about it to my knowledge. I basically picked it up because the cover's really pretty. It's about a sort of small-ish town in California, and there's a university in this town, and it's quite sort of isolated, but one night a college girl falls asleep and the next morning she can't wake up. They can't wake her up, nothing. She's not ill, she's not dead, her heart rate isn't wrong, she's just asleep and she won't wake up. And they take her off to the hospital, and it's just sort of a freak sort of accident. And then as time goes on, they realise that this is actually like a disease and it's contagious, and it happens to hundreds of kids throughout the university. Then it spreads into the rest of the town, and this whole town starts to fall apart because everyone's falling asleep and they won't wake up. And the doctors at the time are figuring out that they are asleep and they are in REM sleep, so their brains are like still active and they're dreaming. And it's all about just how the town sort of falls apart, how everyone bands together to sort of keep going, as, you know, I think like 70% of their population falls asleep and they have to keep them all alive. And it's just so interesting. Like, I absolutely adored this story. I just thought it was so unique. I'd never read anything like it, and the writing style was right up my street. It was really sort of whimsical and magical and just beautiful style of writing. Honestly, the prose was really, really fantastic. The only criticism I really had was that because it's quite short, and there was a lot of characters, there was a lot of plot stuff going on, but I felt like I wasn't connected to many of the characters quite as strongly as I would have liked. That was really my only criticism, is that I wanted more time with the characters to get to really feel for them. But because the plot was so sort of heavy and I just wanted to find out what was going on, I didn't mind so much. I really, really enjoyed this, honestly. Like, thinking about it, it was just so cool and different. Really easy to read as well. The chapters were really short, and it was fantastic. I gave it 4 stars in the end. The next book that I read in July/August was The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater, because yes, I am taking part in the Raven reread hosted by I Read YA on Twitter. I'm rereading my favourite series for the 3rd time in 3 years. Who's surprised? It's not anyone. No one's surprised. It follows the daughter of a family of psychics who is not psychic. She just helps emphasise psychic abilities with her energy. It follows her making friends with 4 boys from the local private school who are on the hunt for a Welsh king that they believe is buried somewhere in their town, state, wherever. And it's full of magic and adventure and amazing friendships and okay, you all know how I feel about the Raven Boys. I might as well talk about the Dream Thieves as well while I'm here. I read both of these back to back in halfway between July and August, and they are just my favourites ever. I just love them so much. They're both so fantastic. The whole series just, I can't even explain. 10 out of 10, 5 out, amazing. The last book that I read recently, I read it in August, and it's actually an audiobook. Now, if you know me, you know I don't listen to audiobooks very often. I went to London a couple of weeks ago for a book to net meetup by Emma Books, which was an amazing day and really, really enjoyed it. But I was on the coach for 5 hours that day, there and back, 2.5 hours each. So I thought I should download a audiobook to keep me entertained. And my audiobook program that I have from my library or whatever is not very good. It's just not great. And so I managed to find this random book on there. And I'll put the cover up here. It was Trouble by Non Pratt. So Trouble follows 2 characters. Hannah, who are both in high school in England, so it's a British book, and I really, obviously, whenever books are set in England, I'm like, yeah, relatable, haha, they're doing their GCSEs, lol. So that was kind of relatable for me, which made me enjoy it more. But yes, Hannah, who is a sort of rebel girl, because she has a reputation for sleeping around. And then we have Aaron, who just moved to their school. Hannah then finds out that she is pregnant, and she knows who the father is, but she won't tell anyone, and it's not revealed until much later on who the father is. I guessed it about a quarter of the way through, let me just put it out there. So Hannah becomes pregnant, and she knows who the father is, but she can't tell anyone because it's a big secret, and she doesn't want anyone to know. So her and Aaron have begun to have this friendship, and he volunteers to be the pretend father of her baby until she's ready to tell everyone. And from that, they create this really, really nice friendship, and Aaron has a darker past that he is reluctant to share. What did I give Trouble? I gave it 3 stars, and I'll tell you for why. I did really enjoy Trouble. I thought the story was really cute and kind of fun. It's not something I would normally read. Teen pregnancy is sort of an aged topic for YA, I think, but this was really different. It wasn't complex in the way of writing. It was quite basic. The plot was again quite basic, but it was just easy to listen to and it was fun. Also, it was quite predictable, but I kind of like that. I like that I was able to guess what was happening and then get the satisfaction from being made right. But the main reason I gave it 3 stars was because of when both characters are looking back on their secrets, when the secrets are revealed, like who the father is and Aaron's past, they both go into a lot of detail in their minds. Like they're told from both perspectives, by the way. The book is told half from Hannah's perspective and half from Aaron's perspective. But we see their past and they describe it in very strong detail, and I really hated it. I didn't need that. I didn't like the descriptive scenes at all. They really made me just ugh. And I'm sure that was maybe why they're there, to make you feel a bit like ugh, gross, okay. The end was cute, a bit rushed, the end. But yeah. I gave it 3 stars. Maybe a 3.5. I don't know. So, we're done. That's everything that I've read in July and August of 2019. I am sorry that I don't upload. Not that anyone cares. But yes. But thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know how you are in the comments. What are you reading? Are you excited to go back to school, uni? I'm going back to uni in about 3 weeks, so I'm pretty chill at the moment. Still got some time to, you know, freak out about dissertations and things. So yes, thanks for watching. I hope to see you next time. Bye.